Welcome to The Direct Line, the official podcast of OADSP, with host David Rustio. If you have questions or would like to be a guest, please reach out to podcast@oadsp.org.
I'm David Rustio, and today I'm speaking with David King. Welcome to the show, David King.
Thank you, David.
How are you today?
I am wonderful, thank you.
Just wonderful?
Great, wonderful, all good stuff.
It's a good day. So tell us about yourself, David.
Sure. I'm a 60-year-old married man of 35 years to a wonderful lady that
is going to listen, so you have to say that.
I'd say that anyway. So she is definitely a wonderful woman that's gotten me to where I am today.
Okay. What else about you makes you so special?
So we have 4 grown adult men, children, 2 daughter-in-laws, and 3 grandchildren. So those are a big part of our life right now.
Okay, so the kids, the wives, or the grandchildren, what's your focus right now?
Of course, the grandkids, but to convince them that we like them just as much, but they don't believe us. So
yeah, you've already spoiled all of them.
Absolutely. And they still get spoiled. They can't say they don't.
Sure. So tell us about some of these grandkids.
Sure. We've got 3 grandkids. Our oldest, our grandson, is 3 years old, and then we got 2 2-year-old granddaughters. So we finally got our girls.
Wow. And that doesn't excite you, right, to have 2 granddaughters?
Oh, not at all. So I'm very, very excited there. Now, I have to admit, when we had our first one, it's like, okay, I'm not sure I know what to do with the girls. All we had were boys, but they're just as fun.
You'll figure it out.
Oh, we absolutely have already.
And so both girls are 2, but they're not twins.
No, they are not.
And what traits do they take? Are they more like their mom, more like their dad, or can you tell yet?
I think they're a good mix. So the older of the 2 girls acts a lot like her dad. It's like we're raising her son again there. But
so you know what to expect.
Yes, but she looks a lot like her mom and has a lot of her mom. So she's a good mix of both of them. And then the youngest one looks a lot like her mom, but I think is a good mix between mom and dad as far as how she acts. So
who's got more attitude?
They all got attitude. I think with the last name King, it just comes with it.
Oh, okay, you're right. I mean, that makes perfect sense.
Yes.
And so you have a little strange thing about your life that I find intriguing, in that you're a geek, but for
comic books.
Comic books. Tell us about that.
Yeah, starting at the age of 10, I bought my first comic book. It was a Batman and a Justice League. Are the best for all you Marvel fans. I'm sorry. I do like Marvel, but DC is better.
So well, you might get some hate mail.
That's all right. I can handle it there. But, yeah, I've been collecting for the last 50 years. So I've got quite a big collection, about 12,000 comic books right now.
12,000?
Yep, so which my wife cringes every time, but she indulges me.
Because she knows what they cost, right?
So I keep telling her that's going to be our retirement plan, and she keeps telling me I'm not seeing any money come from it, so when am I going to see this?
Well, there's time.
There is. There is.
So what do you think got you into that?
As a kid, I think it was just more of an escape thing for me as a kid.
Okay.
You know, just kind of forget everything else. You know, when I'm reading comic books there, it's just a good way to relax and get away, stress-free.
And how did you acquire all of these? You begged mom and dad, or?
Well, no, I was a paper boy, so starting at the age of 9, I started delivering papers, not because I wanted to, because I was told I had to go help my brothers do it, and then from there, it's just I've been working since. So my first comic books was I get paid for on Friday and ride my bike up to the convenience store where they had those round circulating racks.
Yeah.
When the comic books came out on Friday there, I'd sit there and that's when comic books cost 10 cents a comic, so I'm kind of telling my age a little bit there.
That's okay. I mean, when I was buying candy bars, they were 15 cents when I started buying candy bars.
Yep, so from there it was, after through the thin years when you first got married and you're not making a lot of money, there was more of I figured out how to buy comic books, sell comic books, buy the right ones that are going to go up in price, sell them, and that helped me to keep my addiction going.
Are there any that you kind of look back and say, I wish I hadn't sold that one?
Absolutely. Well, I learned. So now when I sell them, I've already bought 2. So I'm at the point where I know to look for the right ones. If it's something that I want to keep, I'll buy 2 of them, sell one, keep the other for the collection.
So do you still read them when you buy one?
I do.
Really?
I do.
And what is your favorite?
Justice League and Batman.
Justice League and Batman. And so I'm not real familiar with comic books. I know I read some as a kid.
Batman is one of probably your most popular characters in comic books, so he has multiple comic books out just with him.
And where do you buy those today?
There are comic shops around that I get them from that are specific for comic books.
Assuming.
Mm-hmm.
Do they sell other things like marijuana, or what gets people in there?
Well, they may be behind the counters. I don't know that. But, I mean, it's more like collector shops. So you got cards of all, just things like that, in comic book related.
And what does a comic book cost today?
Well, just the basic one will cost you about $5 for a basic one. They can go up to $10.
And so what's the difference between a $5 and $10?
The size of the book. Sometimes it's the company. Some companies charge a little more that make the comic books. But the majority of them are around that lower end, a regular comic book. Special editions will cost more.
And any of the grandkids you're going to try to pull into this hobby?
I would love to, but it's going to be up to them. I'm kind of that person that I'm not going to force you into what I want you to do. I want to see what your passion is, and then we'll go from there.
Now, you also did something recently I've done, and it's thrilling. You went skydiving.
I did. So for my 60th birthday this past year, one of my sons surprised me to take me skydiving.
And?
Oh, it was great. Now, I have a little fear of heights, but I do heights just to prove to myself I can do it.
Sure.
So, I mean, I was excited because we'd talked about this for years that, hey, at some point we want to go skydiving. So he surprised me on my 60th. He wouldn't tell me until the night before.
What you were doing?
Well, he had to because I had to sign the release forms. So he said, Dad, I'm going to send you release forms. I have to tell you what I'm doing, but meet here, and this is what we're going to do.
And did you have second thoughts before you got there?
Oh, not at all. Now, it was a little scary when you sign like 10 pages of release forms, and all through the release forms they're telling you
you're going to die.
Yeah, there's a high possibility of death or dismemberment, but we're not responsible for anything that goes wrong.
You're an adult.
Yes.
Yeah, I've done it, and it's a lot of fun.
Oh, it was a blast. I mean, I have to say I had a good trainer, the guy that jumped with me, so I made it to where the fear wasn't there.
I think the scariest part for me was going up in the plane with the doors open, and we had to sit because it's not a very big plane.
So my guy was good because he saw I was nervous when the plane started going up there, but he was right in my ear to the guy when you do this. So he was talking to me, trying to keep things light. I think the scariest part for me was just that moment when the first guy jumped out of the plane and all of a sudden I didn't see them. I mean, I kind of froze up a little. And then when you're standing on the edge of the door and it's your turn to go,
it's scary.
Just a little bit when you're looking down there, but my guy didn't give me much. He told me, he said, don't worry, I'll just pick you up and throw you out if you get scared. And he pretty much did. He was about a foot taller than me. Yeah, once I was out of the plane, I might as well enjoy it. There's nothing else I'm going to do but go down. Oh, it is. I mean, to see as far out as you saw, and birds were actually flying around us where we were. So it was just a really great experience.
Yeah. If you're a listener and you've not done it, get out there and at least do it once.
I highly recommend it. You'll want to do it again once you do it for the first time. So
I'm ready. So if you get another chance, give me a call.
I sure will.
I'll go with you.
Sure.
So what do you do for a living?
I work for a company called Echoing Hills. I'm the regional director in their Dayton area.
Okay. And what does that entail?
So I oversee, we have 5 different programs that we run down in the Dayton area. 3 are residential type programs there, and then we have 2 what they call day programs.
Okay.
These are programs that pretty much what they sound like for individuals with disabilities. This gives them something to do during the day. We are try to make these community
activities and
community-related type programs. So we're getting these guys integrated into their communities, getting them acclimated so they can do the things that we want to do in our communities. We want to give them those opportunities as well.
So what does that look like?
So both programs, the 2 programs that we have that are day programs.
Both, either.
Yeah, so both of those programs, they kind of focus on different clientele. One is more for some of the individuals that we serve in our residential program.
Okay.
That program, a lot of those individuals have higher medical needs.
Okay.
So a little more hands-on with them. The ideal is still to get them out in the community, get them into activities that they want to do that will enhance their lives, things that they enjoy doing, things that they can learn from, and get them integrated in the community. Our other program is called Echoing University. This program is more of a post-secondary program for individuals out of high school trying to figure out, what do I do next after high school there? In that program, that is a program that is pretty much community integrated. We just moved our site where we were at, so we are now located out at one of the malls here in Dayton. So it is truly community integrated. When we walk outside our doors in that program, we're in the middle of the community there, which is great for these individuals. So a typical week for these guys is we have a classroom setting, and then we have groups that go out in the community during the week. So everyone there spends time in the classroom when they're learning those community skills, communication skills, how do you deal with conflict, budgeting skills, how do you deal with safety in the community, those type of things, so that when they are in the community, they know how to interact in the community and how to be a part of their communities in the way that they want to be in those communities. Then the other part of their week, we take those skills and they go out into community groups where they're doing volunteer activities, just different community groups out in the community, advocacy groups out in the community, where they can practice those skills that they learned in the classroom there. So once again, they can figure out what part they want to play in their community, the way they want to do it, just like any of us.
And do most of these folks live in group homes or with their parents or on their own?
In that program there, it's a wide variety. I mean, they come from group homes. They come from different residential settings. Some of them live with family. Some of them live on their own.
Okay. And the classroom is actually in the mall.
It is.
And do people sneak out to the candy store and things like that?
Oh, we have time where we let them. Well, it's really a cool setting there for us to be in the mall. We also have an accessible restroom.
Okay.
We want to make this a community space, not just for the individuals in the program, but for anybody that has a disability. They can come in and use that space. If you're out and around and you need an accessible restroom, you can always come in and use it there. We have hoteling space, so for people in the community that work with our individuals, family members, anything like that's on that side of town that just needs to hook up and have a place to work instead of driving to the other side of town.
Really?
And we've got space there where they can come in and be a part of our program and see what's going on, and they can...
That's great.
Yeah, just come and plug in there as well to be a part of who we are there.
That's exciting.
It is exciting.
So it's real integration.
It is, and when we moved to the mall in April, we also added the employment piece to that program as well, where we're to be truly community integrated. To be truly community integrated, we also wanted to offer that employment piece.
Do people like graduate from this program, or is it a lifelong or?
The goal is it's never a lifelong program. We want them to learn from this and to move on so that they can be part of their communities. We don't want them to just come to our program and then that's a be-all, end-all. Right. So we were hoping to teach them the skills where they can actually be part of their community and navigate it in the way that they want to navigate it without us being a part of that. So I always tell my staff, when they no longer need us, then we've done our job.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's when we work ourselves out of a job.
Mm-hmm. And how many folks are you serving in your region?
In our region, we serve right around 95 individuals.
95?
In our 5 programs, yes.
That's a good group.
It is a good group.
I mean, even on its own, 95 is a lot for an organization. And how many in the total organization? Any idea?
Well, I know with our travel program, we serve upwards of probably over 1,000 individuals throughout the 5 regions here in Ohio, but we also have a travel program, an activity program, where I know a lot of our individuals take trips to Alaska. We've got one young lady that's been down to Disney World in Florida a couple times. She really loves that. So lots of good things that they're doing out there with that travel program.
So, David, it was quite a journey to get you to where you are and to what you're doing today. Do you mind taking us through that?
Sure. I'll try to keep it simple here.
It's all right.
So I've been in the field for we're getting closer to 40 years now that I've been in the field. So fast forward to where I'm at now. Most of my experience in the field has been in nonprofit. A couple years ago, I was recruited by a for-profit upstart company, a brand new company there. It was a residential program. I was their regional director. I worked for them for 5 months, and they had to downsize already. So it was a company that had a good idea, just not a great strategic plan on how to implement that idea. So with that downsizing, like I said, I was laid off for 5 months, and then they called me back. I was a little hesitant at first, just a little gun shy about going back to a company that didn't seem like it was real stable, but at that point I didn't have any other options. My wife and I prayed about it. We felt like, okay, this is where we needed to go, and we'll figure it out and pray about it where we go from there if anything happens. So I came back to them, worked with them for another 5 months. I think the company shut down, so I was laid off for another 7 months. So in that 1.5-year period, I was laid off for a little over a year.
Kind of scary, isn't it?
It is. My faith is very important to me. My relationship with God is very important. I learned through all of that after 60 years, God was finally getting through to me that, hey, I've got it all under control. I've got a plan for you. I can take care of this. I do like to say that first layoff that I had there, I was trying to take care of it and figure it out all myself.
Sure.
There. I'm putting in tons of applications on jobs. I knew I had the experience. I knew I should get this job. None of them worked out. So during the second layoff, I finally got through to me that, God has this under control there. So I was a lot more relaxed at that point, and to the point I made my wife nervous. Like she said, I know God has this under control, but you really need to find a job.
Tell God to hurry up.
Yes. So, and God does it in all of his own time, I've realized. So.
Yes.
But during that second layoff, I got a call from someone that I worked with previously who now owned her own consulting firm there. She was working with someone from Echoing Hills, and they had come and asked her, hey, do you have someone, or can you work with us, or have any ideas of how to start up an employment program? We're looking to possibly start one of our programs. So she thought of me because some of my experience had been employment-related experience there. So she connected me with a man named Ray Schmidt, who happens to be my boss now at that time. So our conversation went like, hey, I don't have a job for you at this point, but I hear you have some experience. Would you be willing to sit down and talk with me about it? I said, sure. I'd love to share my experience that I had there. So I'm living in Columbus. They were in Dayton is where the position, or where he was looking at getting this started up at. So we worked on a time to meet. Now, I knew there was something a little different about this organization. First off, the funny part is, I didn't mention this, back when I was in college, my first experience working with individuals with developmental disabilities, my freshman year in college, I was part of a work witness team that went out to the small company called Echoing Hills and did volunteer work out there, weekend retreats with them. So 40 years ago. So this is kind of it's kind of cool how God does this. So fast forward 40 years, I'm meeting with someone from Echoing Hills to talk through just some consulting work for them. By the time that Ray and I met, the conversation first started off with, can we pray first before we do this? Because I just want to make sure God's in the middle of this, the conversation there and then what we talk about. So sure, I think It's a great idea to pray. His next thing, while we were eating, starting to talk, he said, well, things have changed a little bit since we last talked. I do have an open position I want to talk to you about if you're interested there. I said, sure. I'm not working now. Sure, I'm willing to talk about it. So we talked about it. I told him, let me pray about it. Let me talk to my wife about it there. And we did, and we felt like this was God's opening the door for us, because the whole time we were laid off, our prayer was, God, clearly open the doors where you want us to go, close the doors where you don't want us to go. So we felt like this was a door opening to at least pursue it. So we did. And what I have to say is that this is the best job that I've ever had. So it's one of those jobs that, it's clearly, in my mind, this is what God made me to do, type of thing there. So same type of stress and things that happen in any other position I'm in. But when you're doing and being where God wants you to be, and it just a whole different perspective on what you're doing there. So I think we've come a long way in the 2 years that I've been in this position there. I've got a great team that I work with, great individuals that we're serving in this area down there. We're doing good things in the Dayton area. So real glad that this is where God put me to be.
And I bet your wife's happy now that you're working.
Oh, she absolutely is glad that I'm working. And that's a whole nother story, but she's always been one about you find your passion in what you do. So she knows this is where my passion is at, and this is where God made me to be there. So she's extremely happy for me in this role.
So this is where you were meant to be.
Absolutely.
That's incredible.
It is incredible. I mean, it's fun to be part of that journey there when you finally get that God has a plan for your life there, and he does that, has a plan for all of our lives. But when you finally realize it and you sit back and let it happen there, it is incredible. Yeah, it is incredible.
Well, thank you, David.
You're welcome.
This has been a lot of fun.
It has
been good to meet you and your folks here. All a lot of fun. And congratulations.
Thank you.
That you're doing what you're supposed to be doing and where you've brought this part of the organization in 2 years.
Well, this has been a team effort, so it's not just a David thing there, but I mean, God put me to do my role there, but we've got a great team here in Dayton, great team at the executive level here for the company, great people that we're working with.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too.
Thanks for listening to The Direct Line. If you or your organization would like to be guests on this podcast, please reach out to podcast@oadsp.org. As long as you support people with developmental disabilities, we would love to hear your story. There is no cost, and we come to you.